What's up, guys? So today we're going to be working on a bunch of the fabrication stuff on this car, along with a little bit of rust repair, because I had a few of you guys asking, how to go about rust repair. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to start doing some cool stuff, some cool fabrication, making whatever. Oil cooler mounts for the rear trunk, maybe a rear finish panel for the rear trunk area, and who knows what else. So right here is the front oil cooler mount bracket that I'm going to be CNC plasma cutting. I'm going to be doing it out of 090 aluminum. And basically these bolt to the oil cooler itself. This single bolt right here goes to a factory bolt on the trunk. And then this is the other one, and I'm gonna have to drill holes for the trunk and either use riv nuts or nuts and bolts. How's it going, Corey?
I hate my life.
That's cool.
I hate rust.
Yeah, me too.
Don't buy a vehicle with rust.
You're telling me, Corey.
Dumbass.
Anyways,
my
yeah.
240 doesn't even have rust. Neither does my Skyline. Or the Jeep.
So yeah, same thing with this. It's going to be 090 aluminum. It's going to bolt to the oil cooler there, and then bolt to the body. And I'm going to have to do a bend along that line and a bend along that line, kind of make it in the shape of a Z. And it should work nicely. So let's cut it out and mock it up. So this is one big area of rust that I have left. I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to tackle that. I've drawn a couple Sharpie lines of where I need to cut, but I'm just going to draw a couple more, and then we'll start cutting, and then we'll start making some filler panels. And here it is with all the different pieces cut out. So we got this one, this kind of big one right here. I went all the way down and I got rid of the you can sort of see up there the sunroof drain tube. It used to come down through there, but it was all rusted out inside. So I just cut the whole thing out, tried to clear all the rust out of there. Little piece there, big piece there, and then this will be two pieces, one for the top side and then one for this little flange on the edge. And then yeah, let's see where I put this stuff right here. Some copper weld through primer. It's a good idea to put something like this down to cover the panels that you're not going to be able to get with paint later, and it'll prevent you from really having to do this again, because that's a bad time. So now I'm going to spray one more coat of this, I think. Yep, 2 medium wet coats. So it's about ready for the second one. And then we can start making the smaller patch panels, and then we can get this guy fitted and welded up. Boom. And then I had to cut this a little high, so I'm gonna have to make a panel for right there, just because there was rust coming up all the way to there basically. Now I started getting some of these patch panels made and welded in. Basically they're pretty simple, just straight bends and stuff like that. To make them, I either use just this standard printer paper, and you can use a Sharpie. You can also just use a little bit of dirt from your finger and like trace the edges. And then you just kind of rough cut it and then work your way down. And then I'm spraying spraying this stuff that I showed you earlier on the back side just to make sure everything doesn't rust later on down the road, because that's bad. And then you just weld it all up and grind the welds away and put the next panel on top. Another thing I started working on is filling all the holes up here. So that one, all those guys, that weird one, that one. Basically any hole on that area besides that, which is the where the brake push rod comes through, they're all going to be filled. Basically like doing a shaved engine bay, but there's no engine. But yeah, very time consuming. The holes that big or bigger, I need to cut a piece of metal out for. Anything that's about that small or smaller, I just I put this behind it, which this is just a piece of copper pipe hammered flat, and it's just sort of a little heat sink. So I use that behind that just to draw some heat out of the weld, and it helps fill it in without burning too much of the metal away. And yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh wait, that one's close. I'll probably weld that one. Weld that one. Just cut a piece for that one. Weld that, or make a piece for that one. Weld that. Cut pieces for those. This, I'm actually going to cut this whole area out and replace it, just because there's so many little holes that it'll be easier to just replace it. And then working on a little bit of rust right here, and then one more little area of rust right there, and that should almost cover this area. Now I started on grinding all the welds. You know, still need to weld a couple places and need to weld in a couple more panels like this guy. This one's waiting on. There's rust right here, so I'm going to cut back a little bit and I have to redo this thing. And then these over here I ground down, and then I got this fitted up and welded in place. This edge I'm still going to cut down, you know, to be the same level as this one. Grind all these welds smooth. I'm going to grind these smooth because that's where the fender sits. Still going to do a little bit of work there, down on the bottom part. And for the grinding, what I do is I use a couple different flap discs. This one right here is a pretty good one. Diablo. It's like a grinding and polishing. I don't know what that means, but it works well. This one works really well for some spots. This one's really worn, but it wraps around the backside, so you can get stuff like in there better than what that one can do. And then the other one is this tool right here, which is a little air powered belt sander, and that's great for like all the little details and stuff that either the flap discs won't get to, like that area right there probably. Yeah, and definitely up in here, that section, stuff like that. You got to use a different tool for every spot, really. So if you watch my videos often, you probably know that I have severe ADHD and I jump around a whole lot. So I'm working on the door. This whole edge right here, it should be a clean edge following there, but it's not. So sorry, the music's kind of loud right now. And this is a common problem area for 911s. So just gonna try to fix all that and then fix whatever else or crack there, stuff like that. So far it's coming out better than I've kind of been expecting. The holes are where it pulled the pin out. So basically as I'm pulling it, it just pops the whole thing out. These are where I cut the pin off. So these holes I'm gonna have to just weld up. So I've been pulling those areas, and then I've been hitting with a hammer, basically along that edge to knock that down, and it's coming out pretty nice. I need to fix this gap a little bit, fix this area. Yes, Corey?
I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
for all the people that tell other people they can't buy a 240 for cheap anymore, I have $3,000 into my car.
Including a big stupid wing. A battle arrow wing.
Including the wing, the kit, wheels, engine, trans.
Harness bar.
Oh yeah, and there's bride
Quick
seats
release.
going in it.
And the bride seats and a couple other things and all this that you saw in the last video. Yeah, it's doable. It's
$3,000, you can still do it in
It-
2019.
it's still doable. Don't listen to the fucking whack jobs. It is possible.
And if you want to save a two-tone coupe, $5,000, it's yours.
It's yours. Take it home. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit fast because my phone's on 1%, but here is the final product. I need to do a little bit more grinding there, but this is pretty much good to go. It is on like the front lower inside part of the door, so it's not like it's not going to be visible nearly at all. And then got my GT Racing fiberglass front fender on, along with the passenger door, and it fits up pretty well. I need to do a little bit of wire to fill in that door gap, but it looks pretty good, and the car looks pretty sick. We're moving along. That's it for this video. Hit subscribe so you can stay tuned. The next video, I'm going to be doing some door gaps. Before the next video, probably because you guys don't want to watch, I'm going to start welding, or keep welding up a million holes. And then we're going to start doing some custom stuff, so that's cool.